For the calendar book base pages, I have already made 5 of them. We're going to make 6 page sets. So you're going to cut 6 black cardstock that are 8.5 by 9. And you're going to cut 6 that are 8.5 by 8. So you need 6 of each one of these. And you take your scoreboard, and we're going to take the largest piece, which is your 9 by 8.5, and we're going to score on the 9-inch sides. Put that in at the top where you see the 9, and you're going to score down at a 1/2 inch, and at 8.5. If it's easier for you, you can just turn that around and score it a 1/2 inch on each end of the 9-inch like this. Then you're going to turn, you make one turn, and with the 8.5 in at the top, you're just going to make 1/2 inch. Now this will make our pocket page. So then you take your scissors and where your little squares here, you have 2 on the bottom. You're going to make a little miter cut to the fold over just like that. Both sides. Just miter cut that corner out at a slight angle. Okay, set that one aside. Now grab your other piece, which is your 8.5 by 8. So put the 8.5 in at the top so that you can score down at a 1/2 inch. Just like that. That one's going to be burnished this way. So this is the base page, and the other one will attach. So let's get my mat. And the bone folder. So go ahead and fold and burnish. This is our hinge. This is the L. I call it the flip hinge or the L hinge, whichever you've heard it called, where this attaches into the book with this. And then you grab your pocket and you go ahead and burnish all 3 sides. Fold and burnish it up so that they form these flaps on the back side. So burnish them really well. Okay. Once you have them burnished, fold it so that this bottom one comes up, and if you have anything sticking out from when you mitered, you don't want that showing on the outside. So just clip that off if it's showing. That one's fine. So you're going to burnish these, and so on the back side, just a little bit of glue along the edge of this angle cut here. Just a little bit right there. And right there, we're going to kind of seal this corner up. You'll have to hold it down for just a few seconds and burnish it down. And make sure these are really burnished good. These are the pockets that are going to hold our calendars. So now I take my finished page with my hinge folded under on the left side. So there's the fold line. I push it and fold it under. And I'm going to square it up in here. Here, we're going to want the bottom fold against the fold, the hinge fold here on the left, attach on the bottom and the top. So this is going to leave it open on the outer edge. So just flip this over, hold on to it at the back where the open end is, and I just put a line, squiggle line of glue on all 3. If you want to use score tape, that's fine. I like to use the glue. Oops. Get that wiped off there. Then take it, holding it where the open end is. We're going to line it up down here at the bottom. So my fold is over here on my base page. line this up. You want it straight on the bottom, all the way across. Line it up pretty good. Bring it up here, line it up. Take your bone folder and burnish. Let's flip it over. I'm going to burnish under here where the hinge is. Top and the bottom. And then I open this side here and burnish it to make sure it really... So now we have the pocket, and then we have the hinge right here. So we have 6 of those that are going to go into our album. So I've already done 5, so I have a total of 6 base pages. So January will go on the front, February the back, and so on. So you have a page for each month, and then we'll have the calendar insert that goes right in here inside our pockets. I have the pattern papers cut and inked for the pages. So what I am using is the prints, the patterns like for each month, except for June and December. The reason I changed that is I had already used the June patterns, both pieces, to cover the sections on my calendar book. And so that's the 6th month of the year. And so I decided with December I would do the same thing and not use the patterns for December, but do something else. So all of these you want to cut for all the months except for June and December. You want to cut a piece that's the pieces that are 7 7/8 by 7 7/8. So it doesn't matter, they're the square. So there's 10 of those. Then for June, let me skip through here. There's March. It's here somewhere. Okay, let's see here. Oh, there's the paper right there. So for June, this is December's. December, I am using those. Okay, so this is my for my June. So for June, I use the June Sentiments dots and a piece of the solid left over from what I cut. So this is for June. And then for December, I use the sentiment dots from the December month and the December solids. So these dots, you want to cut these at 7 7/8 wide by 6 inches tall. And the smaller pieces are going to be 7 7/8 inches wide by 2 7/8 tall, because we're going to do a pocket to piece that. Or if you don't want a pocket like that, you can just, piece that page. But that's what we're going to do. That's what I'm doing, is adding this pocket. So to make the 2 pockets, you need, from your scraps, you have plenty of scraps from cutting your pages. So you want to cut 2 that are 9 inches wide by 3 1/2. 9 inches by 3 1/2. Then grab your scoreboard. I'm going to go ahead and make these pockets now. Grab my scoreboard. I've already done this one. Put this in the 9-inch length across the top so that you can score at a 1/2 inch and at 8 1/2. Turn and score the 3 1/2 inch side straight down at just a 1/2 inch. Then take your pocket and do a miter cut where the little corner is. Go ahead and cut those off. And then fold these up and burnish. And this will make the pocket. And you will have one for June page and one for the July page. So I have all my papers cut and inked, and I have my pages. You want to make sure that your hinge is to the left. So the very first one is going to be January. So I am matting my pattern papers with my pages outside of my book. Then I'm going to put mine into my book to show you how to add the pages in. If you prefer to not add them until you've added all your decoration, that's fine. I will be decorating mine in my book, but I do want to put the pattern, solid pattern papers down now. So I'm going to grab my glue. And add that to the back side of each one. And I'm going to speed this up until I get to the part for June where I'll show you how to do the pocket. Okay, I need to make sure you understand that like January goes in the front, you flip it over, and then your February will go in the back. So you want to make sure that when you're doing the front side, your hinge is to the left, and when you're doing the back side, your hinge is to the right, so that you have your correct top here for your pattern papers. On the back side of May, flip it over, make sure the hinge is to the right. We're going to assemble the page for June. So we have these June, cut from the June sentiments. So the sentiments on the back side, but I do have two, so I haven't lost anything from this. So I'm going to glue this dot on first. Now if you've ordered extra papers and you want to use the regular June patterns, you can certainly do that, and also for December if that's what you want to do, that would be fine. So I'm just going to put my pocket, my upper pattern on the dots at the top. Go ahead and burnish that down. So the June print looks like this for what I'm going to use on the spine, and it has the plaid like that, so that would be June. Now to take your pocket that you made out of cardstock, and we're going to put glue on the back of these 1/2-inch flaps. We're going to put this on. We're going to make sure it's lining up closer to the cut edge and also on the bottom. We don't want it to go over our fold line, and we want it to stay within the page here. Gets that line. Let's get it straight. Let's burnish this pocket down really well. Just going to seal that up. Give it extra room in there by having the 3 flaps instead of just 2 on the side. That gives it a little more room to hold things in this pocket. So I'm just burnishing inside. Okay, now we want the solid color, blue or yellow. I think I'm going to go with yellow because it's going to be opposite of the 4th July, and I don't know, I just like the yellow. So we're going to put this on here. And of course we'll have, from the cut aparts, we'll have different things that we can attach to the front here to dress this all up. So there is June. We got May and June, and now we're ready for July, which will be on the front side here. So we have the hinge on the left, and then when we do August, we'll put the hinge to the right. So I'm going to speed this up again. Okay, so now we're ready for December. So we have the December colored dots from the December sentiments page. Sentiments are on the back. I'm going to use the dots. So attach this to the top. So we've got the dots glued down. Just burnish that. Grab your pocket that you've already cut. Put glue on the back side on the flaps, your 1/2-inch flaps. And we're going to attach this more closer to the left side here. Along the bottom, make sure they line up. You don't want it going over the fold here. Burnish it really well. You've got to really burnish through that thickness. Make sure that that pocket sticks down good. And I'm reaching inside to kind of burnish just the flap there. Okay. And now we put the solid down. And I like the red, so I'm going to use the red. You could use the green if you wanted to, depends on what you prefer. So I'm just putting the glue on the back. And attach it down. Oops. Okay. There we go. So we've got our December pocket done. And now we've got our pages all patterned. And like I said, if you want to go ahead and decorate with yours out, you can do that. I am going to put mine inside my book and then do the decorating. So I'm going to move some stuff around. I'm going to have a little room here. There we go. So again, we've already patterned the spine here. This is where our pages are going to go. So we need a pencil and a ruler. So the first thing you want to do, you're going to want to mark. We're going to mark about 1/4 of an inch down from the top. And then we want a 1/2 inch. I'm going to line this up at a 1/2 inch from there where my 1/4 mark is. And a 1/2 inch from the fold. And make sure we lined it up straight. I'm going to draw me a line and pencil, just one line down to the 1/4 inch. This is for the placement of that very first page. So we take January and we're going to place it right along that. So you do want that just about a 1/4 inch right there. So you turn this back, you have your flap turned here towards February. And we're just going to put glue on this flap. If you want to use score tape, that's fine. I like to use glue on my hinges. And I'm going to line up the fold of this page right on that line. And I'm going to stand up, take a good look before I start burnishing down to make sure it's straight across the top and the bottom. Open it up and burnish your hinge. Okay, and before you forget, grab your eraser. And where I marked that one line right here, I'm going to erase this one right there. That's why I use pencil, so I can erase that line. And the other line is not showing. So now we're going to open this back. You have your 1/2 inch here. We're going to grab March, fold that hinge back towards April. You're going to put your glue on your flap. You're going to line up this fold to the edge of the last page. So you're going to have a 1/2 inch gap between. Make sure it's straight. Burnish that in. And open it up. That's April. We have May. Fold the hinge back towards June. Glue on the hinge. Again, line it up. So you have the 1/2 inch space there. Make sure it's straight and it should line up pretty good. Gently open it up. I run my finger along it and then I'd use the burnish it to make sure that it stays in place. So double check. If it popped loose like that one did, you want to make sure it didn't move. Burnish, burnish, burnish. June. Now July. Fold that hinge back towards August. And the glue. Placement. If it moves around, make sure it stays where it belongs. Let it down. September, fold the hinge back, and if you need to burnish it, if it doesn't feel folded enough, towards October, and again we put the glue on the flap. Double checking, it felt like it moved a little bit, so just double checking that. Really burnish that in. You want it to dry and be really stuck down good. Okay, last page. November, fold the hinge back towards December. Add your glue. Oops. There's our last one. Burnish. Okay, so now you see you have your black hinges showing here, and that's okay. What we will do is after we're all done with what we need to cut pattern papers for, we'll take our scraps and we'll cut, like maybe you want to use the plaid or something, you will cut 3/8 inch strips, the height of this, to just go inside each 1/2 inch space to kind of finish all that off. But I like how it turned out. And I'm going to go ahead now, finish up this spine. As soon as I find my metal piece, there it is. So this is from Butterbee. This is a pull closure. I'll link it down in the bottom. It has really nice long brads on it right there, so I'm going to open those up. Okay, from the outside I'm going to put that in. And I want it turned to make sure that the circle of the pull is pointing down towards the back of the book before you secure everything. So what I think I want to do, just to make sure it stays on really good, I think it will without adding glue, but here around the center I'm just going to add smart glitter glue like that. And then I'm going to put it back in. Make sure it's positioned straight with the circle, the pull hanging down like that. So this is the front of the book here. There's your pages. December's towards this inner side. So when this is folded, you want to make sure that it's facing the right way like that. And then we're going to open these prongs. Make sure they're opened really well, that your pull stays in the straight position. I'm going to take my brad tool and I'm going to really press these down flat. Because these are pretty big. Put them as flat as you can. Okay, make sure it didn't change on me. And there's our pull. Okay, so my pages are in. The next thing I'm going to do is decide on what I want maybe for the front. So this is how it looks right now. Of course, we're going to be adding some stuff in there, some more pockets for our cards that we're going to make. And so I'm going to decide if I want to put something on the front now. It's going to have to stay flat. You can't have any thick embellishments on this album. And then we're going to make our box sleeve and our easel for our calendar pages. Oh, I was going to show you right quick. You open this up. You can go ahead and maybe put those in there. Oh, I forgot. We need to cover this. So I already have this piece covered, cut, and inked. So it's the same size that we had for the other spine. And it is 8 3/8 tall by 3 3/8 wide. Let's make sure it's not going over any of the edges. And we're just going to glue this down over this spine. So I almost forgot that part, but I already had this cut. So we're doing good. And I'm going to put some glue around this right here. And we're just going to put this down. And burnish now. Gonna have a little bit of a bump there, but not really, really bad. Just burnish all the way around it and make sure that everything stays attached. And don't poke a hole in it. Don't rub it so hard. You want to use the flat side of your bone folder or a spatula that you might be using. There we go. Now then, that's all covered. So this is the pack of the 8x8 blank calendar pages from Authentique, and then I'm going to have to cut them down, but I just want to show they're going to go into these pockets right here. So I haven't cut mine down yet. I haven't decided exactly. I think I need to make them the 8x8, so I'll probably cut down both sides or leave room to write the month. There's not a small month label for these, so I haven't quite decided yet what I'm going to do on those, but I'll do that later. But I wanted to show that this is what you're going to want, unless you've printed up some calendars of your own. You're going to have just two will go in each pocket. You have one for each month, and then you could mat back here if you have extra paper, or just leave it blank and add pictures there if you want to add pictures or notes, whatever you want to do. So this is the album here, and this is our pull, and this will be like our drawer that goes into our box. So we're ready to get started on that next. Before I start doing any decorating, I'll have different videos for the decorating. I don't know if I'll just do it by the month or by the quarter. We'll see how that turns out. But we'll have the decorating videos for those.